Welcome to Western Sydney Television News. I'm Christina Pollard. In this bulletin, Blue Mountains Council heads to court over the New South Wales Government's intention to suspend it for 3 months. Western Sydney University encourages entrepreneurs of the West.
Come on, Ali. You can do better.
And Fairfield celebrates Lunar New Year with a rice eating competition. Blue Mountains Council has been granted an injunction by the New South Wales Supreme Court against the state government's move to suspend the elected councillors and appoint an interim administrator for 3 months. It's the second notice of intention issued by Local Government Minister Gabrielle Upton after suggestions of a conflict of interest emerged in relation to the council's independent investigation into asbestos management. The council has argued it followed due process.
Minister's looking to remove the council for a mistake that wasn't made. The minister's saying that a process wasn't in place around conflicts of interest that was. That process has been peer reviewed by another law firm to confirm that it was in place, and the question was never put to us before the notice to move to our suspension was issued.
The Supreme Court has continued the injunction and transferred proceedings for hearing before the Land and Environment Court. Blacktown City Council has ceremoniously cremated the last development application to be voted on by its councillors in a protest against the state government changes to planning laws. From March 1, New South Wales local councillors no longer vote on DAs. Instead, they'll be decided by independent planning panels known as IHAPs. 2 urns were prepared for the ashes, one to remain in the Blacktown Council chambers and the other for Planning Minister Anthony Roberts. Mayor Stephen Barley said councillors only voted on 21 DAs last year and the other 2,500 were approved by council officers under delegated authority in an average time of just over a month. The last development applications went before councillors on February 28. They were 3 boarding houses and a development on sensitive land in Doonside. Veterans and serving defence members have commemorated the 75th anniversary of the Battle of the Bismarck Sea at Richmond RAF Base.
Now it's the bow fighters' turn, scudding in over the sea at mast high level. This is it, boys. Give her the gun. Here we go.
A memorial was unveiled at the March 1 service to honour those who served in the battle and lost their lives during the wider New Guinea campaign of World War II.
To say that the Battle of the Bismarck Sea was an outstanding Allied victory would not be an understatement. However, it would be a simplistic one. It was described by General Douglas MacArthur as the decisive aerial battle engagement of the war in the Southwest Pacific.
The Battle of the Bismarck Sea was fought in March 1943 and saw the Royal Australian Air Force and United States Army Air Forces prevent Japanese ships from delivering troops to the north coast of New Guinea. Parramatta's historic Roxy Theatre could be brought back to life under new plans for a multi-million-dollar development. The $96 million plan would see the restoration of the heritage-listed theatre with a 27-storey office tower constructed over the top. A concept development application has been lodged with Parramatta City Council ahead of an architectural design competition. The Roxy was built in 1930 and operated as a cinema before closing in 2003. It reopened as a live music venue but closed again in 2014. Western Sydney University has encouraged business people of the future with an international expert speaking at its Parramatta launch pad. Dr. Peter Kelly has been involved with the Sydney School of Entrepreneurship at the university since its inception and delivered a talk encouraging up-and-coming entrepreneurs as part of the school's speaker series.
Take advantage of every opportunity. And young students, if there's any in here who are starting up something, don't call yourself an entrepreneur. Companies will talk to you more if you are positioning yourself as a student doing a project.
The event was also live streamed and the next talk on igniting opportunity will be delivered on March 8, International Women's Day. Also at Western Sydney University, over 300 thought leaders from industry, government and the community have converged at Catalyst West to devise solutions to challenges in health, resilience, transport and work.
Catalyst West is an event where 350 people from government, the university, business, the community come together and discover new directions for Western Sydney in health, transport, education and work. Today is about solutions and we're so grateful to have all of our partners here.
And now to business, and Darren Latty from PRD Nationwide Penrith has some good news from the world of real estate.
Last week we spoke about job opportunities in Western Sydney and what impact they'd have on the real estate market. This week we're going to talk about actual market conditions. So if you're a buyer looking for a property in Western Sydney this time last year, you would have been noticing between 20 and 30 groups of buyers all competing for the same home at every open house. This time around, if you go to an open house in Western Sydney, you're more likely to see 5 to 8 groups of buyers. So that's one factor that's changed dramatically. The other factor is the type of buyers that you're competing against. So the buyers in today's market are made up predominantly of first home buyers, whereas if we went back to this time last year, as much as 90% of the buyers you're competing against were investors. Now obviously investors have a different agenda to first home buyers. They're making purely financial decisions, so they're not emotionally connected to the house in any way. First home buyers, on the other hand, last year didn't really get an opportunity to buy the right perfect home because they had to compromise just to get into the marketplace. Today, you don't have to compromise. There's more property on the market, there's more opportunities, and it gives you the chance to try and make sure that the house you do buy ticks off as many things on your wish list as it can. For me, 2018 is a great time to buy. The things you need to look out for is making sure you find the right location and make sure you do your research before you sign a contract.
Western Sydney Television News has gone on the road again to give you all the latest from behind the wheel. David Conole has this report.
As Holden continues its transition from manufacturer to importer, there's a number of important cars that the company will be bringing into the country. And one of those is the Holden Equinox, the replacement for the not terribly lamented Captiva. So for a car that's around $37,000 plus on roads, it might seem a little bit expensive, but you do get a fair bit of standard kit. One of the interesting things about this particular vehicle is the safety system that it has on board. Unlike many cars where you have an alert that'll come up at the front, well, this one does. This one also has a vibrating cushion. So you can just imagine how many people would be wanting to try and crash their car just for that sensation. Other safety features inside the car: rear cross traffic alert and lane keeping assist, and basically what that does is cameras or sensors on either side of the car that'll move the wheel left or right and try and keep you on the straight and narrow. This is the Holden Equinox LT. You've probably seen the adverts on television. The LT is the middle of the range, and there is the LTZ, LTZV. If you go the other way, the LS and the LS Plus. Sounds all confusing, don't worry about it. Go to holden.com.au for extra details. What we've got here, nice luggage space, and it looks, doesn't, you know, well, there's even more under here. Only downside is that for an SUV, it still only has a space saver spare. The Holden Equinox, it is the replacement for the Captiva. The LT at around 36.5 plus on roads. It's a middle of the road car, and it is one that I think will suit most families. For further details, head across to holden.com.au for your local dealer.
Rooty Hill resident Harley Windsor is Blacktown's 35th Sportsperson of the Year. The 21-year-old figure skater received the honour at Blacktown City's Sports Awards Gala Dinner, held on February 10. Windsor couldn't receive the award in person as he was busy making history as Australia's first Indigenous Winter Olympian in South Korea. Blacktown Mayor Stephen Barley said Windsor was an inspiration for Blacktown's sporting community. Finally, Fairfield residents celebrated Lunar New Year in style with a rice eating competition. Competitors lined up at Canley Heights to see who could scoff a bowl of rice in the fastest time on February 10. The celebrations to mark the Year of the Dog also included music and amusement rides. And that's all for this week's bulletin. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and subscribe to Western Sydney Television News on YouTube. I'm Christina Pollard.